Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right, my living room, doing what I do for you. Today, got a good one for you. Writers in 25 Rules to Live By. Storytelling the story with a message in the story for life. What's going on with my lighting here? Oh, dark. All right, you know the deal. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment, knowing yourself a little bit better. After this lesson, I hope you get a little better understanding also. Right thinking is a way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka knowing thyself. Do you know you? Let's see. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. I can teach them. Tune in. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not and believe that they know, dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows not, a person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can wake them up. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat be true. The scales of balance is important. It was instituted when we first started this Big Bang. Chaos ran into order. Order is Maya. That's what we stand on. That's what we represent. And they got another word for Maya. I'm about to hit you to it. Right thinkers, let's talk about Samadhi, aka Maya or spiritual truths. Same thing, just a different name. And we tend to call things by a different name. Remember the nyms, the homonyms, the antonyms, and the all them nyms. They say things, they mean things, all that. Get understanding, all right? You can see my grandma from grammar school. I left all that stuff behind, but I remember for what they meant. So in life, words say things and define things differently. That's all. Times has changed. Let's talk about Samadhi. Is the spiritual truth of our inner self, aka spiritual awakening, aka Nihas, all the names you want to use to define finding yourself, waking up, knowing who you are, is changed over the centuries. So it all means the same thing. It's spiritual enlightenment. It's spiritual awareness. It's you becoming aware of who you are spiritually and conceptually within the mind. Conscious. Okay? You have to be able to think right in order to know thyself. How you go? Samadhi can't be explained in words because it's a Sanskrit word, but what it means is you have to live it to understand it. That inner self, the inner awakening, finding God, knowing thyself, Mahdi, Nirvana, that inner peace, that bliss, whatever you want to call it, finding it for every individual would be different to that individual. Just like God, just like the concept is different for each and everybody. All right. Samadhi, I call it spiritual knowledge. Having it, you know what it is if you have it. If you quite well, what's Samadhi? You got some work to do. You don't know who you are. Finding yourself, you will understand Samadhi. Samadhi, another way of saying knowing thyself. They're both the same. Again, see, the word, okay, break it down and whatever, but my concept and understanding for that word, it's the same as what I'm teaching conceptually, just a different word. That's why I'm breaking it down. I said, oh, somebody in the right thinking, mastery. Samadhi, like right thinking, you have to live it. Once you know it, it becomes part of what you do for yourself. Inner spiritual awakening, knowing thyself, becoming clear of who you are through what? Daily practice of doing good and righteous living, virtues, all the good things. That's Samadhi. Why? Because once you obtain it, you'll know how you got it by doing these things. The only way you can get it. Okay. Next one is the path to sagehood. Excuse me. I put a lot of time in on my own studying to gain knowledge and download information that I deem useful for me in my studies and what I want to teach. So I study a little bit of everybody's concepts and views for that purpose and that reason. All right. The good stuff, I download what I consider useful information and I put it into my philosophical points of view and right thinking, and I use it. I have no problem with that. There's no shame in that. If it's good, I'm going to use it. All right. First of all, I'm a student in search of higher consciousness in order to master myself. A sage has information worthy to be studied, to be listened, and follow instructions. That's what you do as a sage. You get information, you live it, you manifest it, you understand it, now you can distribute it. That's what I do. I am the master of right thinking philosophy. Trust me, no problem with that. But I'm still learning other things. I'm still learning biblical concepts because I go to church every Sunday. Okay, so learning, you learn from the cradle to the grave, you gain knowledge and understanding of self. Okay, nobody's too young or too old to do that. I want to have life answers for my right thinking students. So I have to study diligently, vigorously. Every day I'm studying. Why? Because I don't want to have to not have the answer to a question that one of my students may ask me as the master. Now, every question pertaining to right thinking, no problem. But I want to be able to answer other questions. That's all. Philosophically, I want to be worldly. All right? Here you go. Finding and living spiritual truth is what Samadhi is all about. For those who are in search of themselves, for those right thinkers who's in search of self-mastery through the concept that I'm putting out, that's Samadhi when you obtain your goal of what you're in search of. Right thinking philosophy is like Samadhi, in which it's all about knowing yourself and conquering your inner demons, your number one adversary, the ego. I learned the spiritual truths. I practice spirituality. I practice the spiritual truths that I've learned. And I know without a doubt how and why they work. That's why I teach them. Right thinking philosophy wakes you up with what? Self-knowledge. Okay? That's what lifts you out of your ignorant state of mind. Knowledge. Lack of it is the detriment. The phrase, the handwritings on the wall, was true because pyramids were the first place where they put the hieroglyphics readings, okay, the Medjugorje, the writings of God. That's the original concept of the writings on the wall in the pyramids. Medjugorje, writings of God. We seem to think that the Bible was written by God. Another lesson, but that ain't what I'm talking about. The original writings on the wall. Okay, Tahuti, you know the concept. We ain't going there. All right, we talking about now how to reach that state of being awakened. All right, right thinkers, this is part of what I'm trying to let you know. The phrase, okay, the first writings were on the walls of the Great Pyramid. The first two had no writings. I'm just saying. When you go into meditation and prayer, you are spiritually having conversations with your higher self. Let me break that down. Hope you get a better understanding. Truth is, truth is woven into our spirit, which is of God. Yeah, I'm great because this concept, I'm trying to get you understanding the fact that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. What's inside us is God. Right thinking philosophy is the way to spiritual enlightenment with what? Truth and understanding and knowledge of self. We can raise our spirituality with what? Daily practice of right thinking, philosophical points of view, living them for yourself, impose them into your daily life and see how it worked for you, and you'll understand how and why it works. You can only commune with God through mental and spiritual concepts. Okay? Got to be able to comprehend and conceive the idea. Okay? Last one, I appreciate you tuning in. Right thinking philosophy is the brother of Samadhi. We just have a different mother. And it's all predicated on what you obtaining and you putting in your work to obtain your goal of reaching that state of Samadhi, that state of spiritual enlightenment, that state of bliss, being blissed out with what? That peace of mind. Hotep, understanding thyself, knowing thyself. Right thinking philosophy is, like I said, Samadhi's brother, just with a different name. Same concept, same views. I have reached Samadhi again, and I can teach you how to do it. But it's going to take work from you. Like it took work from me. You don't just get it. You put work in to obtain it through practicing. Becoming a master of right thinking philosophy is reaching Samadhi. See? Same difference. Your third eye opening, you becoming aware of self. Again, Samadhi. All right, wrapping it up. Samadhi, a.k.a. being spiritually enlightened, a.k.a. obtaining right thinking mastery of self. That's what it's all about. I'll be back. Got some more.